All right. So last week we recorded last week's session and was able to send that out to a couple people. Basically, and Steve, to answer your question there, it should be instantaneous on the setup there. As soon as you send that first login and send your emails, it's pretty much instanced. So if you want to, we can recheck that.
Can
Now
do it.
for
No, that's fine. Let's keep. I just haven't
okay,
done it.
sounds good, no problem. And Larry, good to see you on. Let's see, we got Clint in there. Good to see you, Clint. Dave, KE6GAE, Jim, N0LVG, James Parks, NY0J's there, Laren, and Steve up there at the top of the list. So good to see you guys. And to get started with tonight, now the goal obviously is Winlink is real popular with emergency communications. Not only that, it's a kind of a fun form. I want to share my screen with you guys and let you see some of the stuff that we did here. And I find my little mouse. So even for field day, that was one of the multipliers. So I was able to send out a some emails and was able to check in over over HF with the net that we were doing for Winlink. So Winlink was part of that exercise. And then last week, what basically we started with doing a regular check-in, how to set up, basically downloading Winlink. Tonight, what I want us to do is learn how to use the check-in forums. Not only for this net, but basically a lot of our nets and stuff that we're going to do, especially when it comes to some of the medical exercises and stuff. We'll probably end up using some of these forums. So it's a good habit to get into, and it's just a supplement. So let's start with a couple corrections from last week that I wanted to bring up. And I'm going to say this is, I'll take the blame for it. Last week I had some people that weren't on um, the computer maybe, but they wanted to do have them still check in. I had them present where they could basically send an email to my call sign at Winlink, and they kept having some trouble. And I had one of those early blonde moments at that time, and I apologize if any of you are blonde, but I just had one of the moments where I completely forgot that Winlink is restricted. It's ham radio, so you still have to abide by the same rules. So because of that, they have a really strict spam filter basically on Winlink. So again, we jump over to winlink.org, which is where most of our activity is. And I actually want to show you this page. You know, Basically, it has a filter, and I'm going to show you how to check that. So basically, you have to, if you maybe it's a family member or somebody like that, for them to email you, they have to put this / WL2K as the first part of their message. So that's, in the subject / WL2K, whatever, supplies received generator. But basically, they have a strong spam filter, and it's essential because licensed radio users and stations, are bound by laws. So they have to have that in there. So now knowing that and kind of eating crow on that, I just wanted to bring that up that, if you're going to give uh, your Winlink email address, which is basically your call sign at winlink.org. If you're going to give that out, you have to make sure you let them know that you need to put their email address as a subject / WL2K. But let's say somebody is going to email you. You can actually create, if you go to winlink.org, in the verse tab up here is my account. So my account, and I've actually already logged into it. I should have logged out, and basically it's stored in there. But you log in there with your credentials, and it's going to bring you to this screen here. So once you're on this screen, you have several options. First one being my accept list is the important one. So let's say that any of these people here can email me. You can say I put Jim's email in there. and 5 EVVs in there. So if you know their call sign or their, and I'm just going to make up one, Clayton at, well, I've already got it on there, Clayton at bigclayton.com. So that's an outside of Winlink email address. You click allow and save. This is also a good way you can turn that off and not allow an email. So just want to let you see that. So that's important to know too. If you're expecting, so maybe we're going to do like the polar bear exercise. It may behoove us to go ahead and get some of those email addresses ahead of time and put in there. So that's the accept list manager under my account. So you would just go my account, you put in your information, your login, and then down you'll see it on the left, my accept list. Also, that page is good for other things that you can see, my blog, the license manager, sysops message monitoring, and just different information like that. So take a pause if anybody has any questions there. Again, that is backwhack, WL2K, and then that's all in the subject line. So if I'm going to create one here, I'm going to go new message. Let me minimize this stuff here, get this out of the way. So I'm going to go new message. I don't know why it's having. We'll try it again here. New message. There we go. And so let's have, if I'm outside of WinLink, I'm just NY0J. So I would have to go WL2K. So if this was from my personal email address, sending it to Jim, I would want to do something like this, digital net, and then you go in with your message. But for tonight, what I'd like us all to do is go ahead and open your WinLink, and we're still just using Telnet. Now, if you happen to have an RF connection, feel free to go ahead and try it over RF. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to back out of this, and when you're at your WinLinks open, over here on the left is the new message icon. So I'm going to click that new message, and I want you to address it to KB0WZI. And because if you're sending this from within WinLink and you've already got your account set up and everything's good, you don't have to do anything but just put net check-in as the subject. If you want to and you don't have it set up, go ahead and send it from your regular email, but just add WL WinLink 2000 is what that stands for, WL2K. So you're going to do something like that. And if you're outside, you would actually have to use KB0WZI at winlink.org. So again, if you're inside WinLink network system, just KB0WZI net check-in. If you're outside, you don't have WinLink set up yet, or if there's some issues, check in, go ahead, use KB0WZI at winlink.org / WL2K net check-in. Now, for those of you that's in the network or on the WinLink 2K already, what we're going to do is select a template. Under that, you're going to go down to standard. It's the first one. I'm just going to hit this expand bar. Now we're going down to the GIS, mapping GIS forms. Under there, we're going to click WinLink check-in. When you do that, it's going to open up a web page. And when you're on there, we're just going to start going through. So you can just do exercise, unless you have a incident name for it. In this situation, we don't. The time and date should auto-populate. You may have to click in there, but just click that. And then the 2 is, in this case, we're going to go KB0WZI. And you can put your the contact name for the station. In this situation, I'm just going to put my name and then initial operator. So maybe, like for example, we may be doing like a field day, so I would have probably put W0TRI here for the initial contacts, and then put my name as the operator name. So in this type is exercise on the radio button here. And then you have relevant. In this case, we're doing exercise. Service is amateur radio. Band. So in this situation, we're probably going to select Telnet. If you do have RF and you're checking in with that, feel free to select one of these other modes right here. So session is Telnet. So I could do VHF, packet, something like that. In this case, I think most of us are probably going to do Telnet. Location, you could say Taney County or home, home, Taney County. And as far as mapping goes, probably the easiest way to do it is get your grid square and type in. Um, I carry little GPSs and I'm looking to see if I happen to have one in here. Um, it's just one of those little cheap USB ones I get off of Amazon.
I I will say, Clayton, that if they
Yeah,
in settings, if they put that grid square in there, it'll automatically populate it.
yeah, that's very true. And we did that under settings. And actually, when I did the check-in um, position report for field day, and came here to GPS position reports, and that's also where I put in my serial port number and all that. But like he said, you can actually just put that in manually under when you signed up in your settings here. So Winlink Express setup and right down there, my grid square.
Yeah, because it requires a grid square, I believe.
Yeah, I think so too. So basically, and that'll put you maybe not in the right neighborhood, but it's going to get fairly close. So for what we need, that's going to work out good. And then down here, some nights we may indicate a certain, like, do you have batteries? And you could read what it says here. On batteries, need relief in 6 hours, or a situation report, operators' names. So, like if I was doing this at Winterfield Day, I'd say we are on. I'll kind of give you one of our scenarios that happened to us there. Um, I brought my Honda generator that's supposed to be one of these inverter style, and for some reason it caused RF issues with one of the radios, and so we ended up shutting that off, and then we switched to Clint's generator, and so if I may put a comment like generator one errors or went down, caused RF issues. We're on backup generator, or if it's something serious like that, maybe it was the only generator. Now we're on batteries only. So basically, you're given a good situation report to the whoever ideally your command in charge on these kind of forms. So, like I may say, on batteries, roughly about 5 hours left. Uh, maybe switching to hourly check-in instead of regular check-ins, something like that. But so tonight, feel free to put, like how you're operating, on Telnet. You're just using Telnet. You could put how many operators you have, just if it's just you, type of thing like that. Basically, just kind of give a good little sit rep there for your situation. As we do more of these nets, we'll make that a little more interesting. And there's some advanced features with this mapping that it does that we want to tap into and really kind of help expand some of that. So once you're done with that, just hit
Clayton,
submit. Yes, sir.
this is Clint.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Could you give again how you got that form open?
yeah. So let me hit OK on this. I'm gonna go ahead and submit it because that's gonna actually open it up to Winlink. So Clint, right here, I'm going to post. So I'm back on Winlink,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to hit that new message right up here, just underneath your call sign on the top left. And then when you do that, it's going to open this up, this little window, new message window.
Okay.
And then in here, you're going to select a template
Okay.
and then scroll, hit the little drop down menu, and you're going to come down to mapping GIS forms.
Okay. That's where I'm lost at.
And then at the bottom
I've
of
got the
mapping,
template manager open, but I'm not seeing like a list like you've got. Oh, do I need select? That's what I've
there's a
got.
little plus sign there. If you hit that plus sign, does
Okay.
that drop
Okay.
it
Yeah.
in?
Okay. Yeah.
And then just at the bottom of mapping GIS forms, you're going to see one that says Winlink check-in.
Let's see.
And if you want to, Clint,
Is that under something?
yeah, it's under mapping GIS forms. So under standard template version, does yours look like this, that standard template version?
I'm not seeing that. I'm okay. I see the mapping now. My eyes are just,
Oh man.
it's real fine print on my monitor.
Yes.
It's all running
uh,
together on me. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. And I tell you, after, and that's a good point too. Like sometimes after uh yesterday the days are running together. Sunday morning. So yeah, yesterday morning I got up to do some of the radio their winter field day, and my eyes were just shot from being tired. So I actually had to go into Windows, and for the logging program, I had to enlarge it just for that session. So
Oh yeah.
that might be something that to keep in mind. I think and there's some ways in the settings of WinLink to enlarge different things, but basically under that mapping GIS forms, you're gonna
Yeah.
select that WinLink check-in, and
Okay.
then that'll populate that web page. Once you fill all that out, it more or less fills this form out, and that's what it's going to look like.
Um, hmm.
Do you see a way to share your screen, Clint, on the bottom of your
No,
Zoom?
I think it opened up.
Okay.
It just opened up on a different screen, so that it opened up over the top of your screen. So I'm gonna have to change something here.
Oh, you're
Okay,
good.
I dragged it up now. Okay, and then you're on exercise
Yeah.
and uh, station contact name. Is that where I put my just name in?
Yeah. Just put your name in there.
Okay, and then okay,
Now there is
tell me.
a HF1 link check-in. They call it WinLink Wednesdays, and they use this check-in form quite a bit. Some of the different HF groups, there's several across the country that do kind of like what we're doing, is doing check-ins and different things
And
with
what did you
WinLink.
suggest we put on the comments there?
Excuse me, having good allergies. I would say for now, just go ahead and just put, like what your county is, what mode you're using to check in, which is one of the bubbles, so that's not really important. But if you're green status, kind of a short situation report,
Okay.
and you can make up anything on that for this one. As we go forward, there'll probably get, especially when we start working with like um, the hospitals and stuff, they'll get a little more specific on what they're looking for on that.
Do you need anything under the uh, initial operators?
No, not
Okay.
really.
Okay. Okay, I've got it. Thank you.
And then once you hit that to submit on the bottom left, it'll come here to this form. And so at this time now, you want to select send as WinLink message. Again, that's our option. There's radio only message or peer to peer. In this situation, we're going WinLink message. We want it to go through the CMS network. And then what we'll do is hit post to outbox, post to outbox. And now I see it over here. I've got one email in the outbox. And so what I'm going to do now is over here, right above those messages, is open session, and it needs to be Telnet Winlink. Unless you already have your radio set up and you're doing a radio mode. So you want it to say Telnet Winlink. And for short, what that means is we're just basically going to send this email through the internet. And then just hit open sessions. And once you get the ready, you're just going to click start. And that's going to run through the procedure. It's pretty quick, so especially using Winlink, Telnet there. And I've already got a couple of them. Got AE6GAE, NY0J. And then I'm just going to hit it a couple times here. But as you see, the nice thing about it is right away I can tell, who it is and what it is. And it's pretty much got the same subject and everything. So my eyes, if I was net control in that situation, goes right to it. So all I have to do is click the email and it pops up and populates automatically. So NY0J, Telnet, checking into the training net, and do the same. Get my fingers working. This keyboard laptop has a weird touchpad, so I just click that one. KE6GAE, David, Telnet 1. Working on getting my RF working and get the
Vara's
mapping.
making me pull my hair out.
Which one,
That's
Vara?
Vara.
HF or VHF?
Both.
Both. What part you having problems with it?
I can't get it to communicate back to the radio.
Okay. Do you?
I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is. I think it's on the VHF. I think it's my cable.
Okay.
The HF one I haven't played with it enough to really.
And you know what was fun is this weekend, and I thought that for some reason I went brain dead again. I was thinking I used my field laptop, which it's in a bag over there, but I had it all configured for my portable radio. And then we're doing field day, and I'm at I'm using the Yaesu FT991As, and so which is easier because it's just a USB in. But then I ran into issues of all my software was configured for the portable radio, and I'm like, oh my goodness! So it took a few minutes to go through and set all that back up. So
Have
I'm gonna.
on your new message, when it says attach, could you attach pictures and drawings and sketches and anything there? Say I had just a handheld sketch
Mhm.
paper I created as a JPEG file or something. Can you send an attachment like that?
Yes, sir. Yep. And now the key with that being if it's going over HF, just try to dumb it down as much as possible. Quality size maybe and picture size. But let me show you. I don't know if everybody saw these last week. This is some of the files I got last week. Let me just do one more check in here. See if anybody.
Because you could be in a situation where they needed a picture of something.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that happens. Let me hit the right one here. Let's see. Get attachments. Open. So this one is a 300 by 300, just to give me an idea.
300 by 300 pixel?
Yeah, on that one, which honestly still looks barely, good. I could, at that day, I could tell where the, cloud base was. Now, I think the other one, though, see, it might be a little bigger. So let's check it.
Well, my kind of question, you had your drone operating and
Mhm.
it's a picture of your encampment or something like that from the
Sure.
drone. Could you send That would be interesting. I like that part of it.
So we need to try that one time. That might be a good exercise. And just to give you an idea, this is 678 by 678, this
Okay.
one. And that was the other one I downloaded. All these you can request under those forums.
Hmm.
Same place we did and I'll show you, it's a catalog, but so 678 by 678. Now, if you're receiving that over HF, it'll take a little bit to download all that. But, VHF, UHF, it won't take, it's a lot quicker.
And then if you had 5 addies, does it take 5 times or just one because it's going out to a server someplace?
If it's going to different email addresses,
Yeah.
so, well, you just yeah, yours is just uploading. That's a good question. I think if they're all on Winlink addresses, it sends the one. But if they're external, it breaks it out. I saw a video a while back where somebody showed something similar to that,
Uh-huh.
and it broke out. So I would say if they're all Winlink addresses, then it should go as one for your part, and then it would all be one on their part download.
Cool.
So I'm just checking a couple more here. So some of the advantages of doing the map check-in like that is now we have this map uh, option, and I can say, 1 day old here. Fat fingers today. So now I can display map, and
Yep.
now
Look
now
at
I'm
that.
seeing the check-ins.
Yep. I think that would be very beneficial.
Now, some of the stuff that you can actually do with this is there's filtering that you can do. Now, I can save this as a JPEG, and then here's some of the filters I could do. Now, forms, this is some of the stuff that we'll get into. Like we can say, we could have one of them, do you have electricity? And then it'd be yes and no right here under this form. So it'd actually be something you guys filled out. Then as the net control, he could say, okay, come through this form and say display only stations with electricity. They would have a blue dot, and the stations without electricity be a red dot.
Yeah.
And then when you apply that, then this shows up showing that same, red dot. So you can see where power is and who has it and who doesn't. And you can make that form anything you want it to be. You could say, make it, if they, need medical supplies, or, if they have electricity or damage, or just about any scenario, uh, especially as we get into some of these different, net modes. But that's just something I thought was pretty slick with this. And I think as we get into like the polar bear exercise, I think once he sees something like this being available, now, granted, we are doing RF here, or Telnet, but I really believe we could do, um, you know, HF, especially 40 meters. I have that 40-meter gateway here running at the house, and like I've worked Denny. He's somewhere here in Omaha, somewhere about this area,
Yeah.
and I really think that we could get this region here, especially with like NVIS running 40 meter. 40-meter NVIS during the day is real short, so it wouldn't be hard to work that whole region right there. So that's part of the beauty with WinLink. And the other thing to think about too is if I'm out, let's say, Steve's out running his drone and doing some aerial surveillance and grabbing some photos. But but if he's waiting around for the radio, I mean, this is a dumb example. He could take this with him, but let's say he's got to go away from his home base station for a minute to do some reconnaissance or something like that, or checking the status of the bridge, or is the bridge out? The beauty of WinLink is that all of us can send these messages, and Now let's throw in a scenario that maybe the grid's down for quite a bit of the region.
Mhm.
Well, even if the internet's down, we can connect in our region, especially using 40 meter. The UHF works pretty good in this. This covers most of this Branson area, so that's an easy way to get into it. For RF is using those that little USB cable I showed you from uh, who was it? BTEC APRS cable for like $30. And using going into like any of the Kenwood or the Bale things. But that's Dave might have some issues hitting us down here with on UHF. But once he gets that up on his HF, I don't see why he shouldn't be able from Rogersville to send an email to us down here. So hypothetically, the grid's down, internet's down. We could use one centrally located uh, gateway is what they call them, Winlink gateways. And those gateways, even if the internet goes down, it will store the emails locally.
Mhm.
So even though we're using the word email, all emails don't have to be through the internet. It could stay local
Sure.
and go through like a mailbox. So then once this is set up and thoroughly tested, which I'm kind of working on that on my side of things too. In theory, what would happen is maybe Dave sends a message in on HF, uh, but Steve sent him a GPS position or a hey, here's a picture of the bridge down. Dave, can you relay this in via he could then relay over FM, probably simplex to Springfield,
Hmm.
so then he relays that in uh over VHF on his side, but HF, and then Steve sent something in on VHF. So our Larry can say, hey, we just had an airplane over at Hollister, come over bringing supplies, here's that report. And now the thing is, we'll get into tactical call signs usage in the future. That's something that Winlink will do. So in those situations, we may have a tactical call sign for that net. So um, like Aries, Taney County, TLARC or something, or MCOM, or I think MCOM's one of the national wide ones, but we would come up with a call sign that we'd like maybe Cox South or something, or Cox Network, or we'll come up with a name for it at that time, and we would all know it ahead of time, and just be able to send that email to that, and it gets distributed that way too. So
I like it. I'm getting messages. I'm below 9% on my phone, so I'm gonna
okay,
check out with you guys.
it's
But
good
I'll
to see you.
call for breakfast or something. And thanks
Sounds
for
good.
breakfast tonight. I'm certainly interested.
Yeah, this is great. Thanks for the questions too, and if anybody has issues troubleshooting or having setup times, setup issues or anything, holler out. I'll stick around too after this net, but is there any other questions or anything?
Now, the other thing I need to work on is my D75 has a built-in TNC to where with my phone I can do WinLink across my D75.
Oh, the Kenwood, yeah,
Yep.
and it'll do Bluetooth too, won't it?
Yep.
That's one of my first radios was the D7. What was the D7? I think the first
Hmm.
one with APRS in it. But yeah, the nice thing about that is you can Bluetooth. Have you tried using any of the apps? Are you iOS or
I'm Android, but I haven't set anything up. But you know who Digital Rancher is. He did a
Mhm.
video showing using because he travels a lot. So
Okay.
most of the time he's using his D75 when he's doing WinLink when he's traveling.
Have all you need to do, I'm trying something new here. I don't really know. I'm still trying to learn my Zoom settings.
Well,
Trying
and
to
then they went
pull
and
you up.
changed them too.
Yeah. So on my end, I see like you now. I'm trying to make it where everybody sees you and as you ask questions, but um is that so there we go. So now it looks like I'm talking to you on my end anyways. I don't know what it looks like on yours, but
It shows me and you side by side.
very cool. So Basically, you could get that. I'm gonna say it, but it sounds weird. WOAD, WOAD,
Hmm.
Whiskey Oscar Alpha Delta on Android. The beauty of it is now you do pay to get it the first time. I can't remember, like $12 or something.
Hmm.
But all the templates, all these forms that you like we're seeing now that we're using is free. On iOS, we pay a yearly subscription for that. It's like $10 a year to have those forms, but I went ahead and did it just more or less to help support, the guy trying to write it. And it's a
Right.
clean, they're both clean programs. But with that WOAD, you can do WinLink Bluetooth to that radio. That's why I like this little B-Tech. Um, I don't know. You know what? Let me try something here. So I'm gonna actually show you what that looks like. Oh, let me go here. Get the right one, sorry. And get both in there. So this is similar to what you would be doing. So as I'm here, I can hit, oh boy, that's bright, ain't it? I can hit message, and I'm going to go to my favorites and go packet because this is my UHF. Now, even though the radio's displaying W0TRI, when I hit connect, first thing it's going to do is search for the phone the radio. You can see it, and
Wow, that
that's
took
on,
you right to the TNC.
yeah, and that's UHF. Looks like I'm downloading something. Receiving a new email, and that's it. So, and I know it's done because this FO or whatever, and then I see the connect option. So now I come up here and NT5R checking in training. Very cool. That's cool. You tell that. Now I may check this. See, that's the weird thing I don't like about it is if I come over here now and try to download that off of here, I don't think it's not gonna register. So basically, once you download it from the server, it stores it to whatever one you're on. So, like, see, I won't have it here, but I did get it over here. So, I
Right.
will caution if you're doing, like if we're trying to use mapping and stuff like that, um, which I don't think his is because I think he checked in just off of our, what we was talking about earlier. That's kind of cool. It does have position, so I'm not sure. I'm still new with this Radio Mail software that is done on iOS, but that just shows you how you could like with what you're doing with your Kenwood. And I gotta say, I'm a big fan of wireless. It's if you can go that route. Um, the only thing on HF I'm aware is that 705, I think, that has that Bluetooth. Now you could
Yeah, I think so.
probably get Bluetooth and
I wonder if
add.
I wonder if the 6200 has Bluetooth.
You know what? KF0 IZP has been looking at all the details on that, and I think it does have some Bluetooth in
Uh
there.
huh.
And
Whole lot
and I'm
cheaper than a 705.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's for sure. So that's a good point to bring up. So, and Dave, if you ever want to try that, you feel free. Now I have Bluetooth, and I'm gonna say it was. I'm trying to remember the steps on it. I set this radio up as a Bluetooth on here one time. So if I opened a WinLink packet, I wonder if it's still on here. I mean, it kind of looks like it is. Come 30. I'm just gonna try it and see. Oh, hit abort
I
because
heard something.
it sounded like it went through the. So what it did?
Hey, go through your phone.
Yeah, KB0W. Is that clear? So what it did, interesting thing is on this, it does not change the radio display. You know how the other one automatically changed it?
Mm-hmm.
This one did not. So what I need to do is come over here and set this to that channel. So that's what it is. It keyed up W0TRI. So let's see if I can get into VFO mode here. 441050. Okay. So let's try that again. Switch over here and hit start. And I see it. It's showing phone, but it's acting weird when it's keying up. Oh, it's like a split. Let me board out of that again. It looks like it's went back to. So that's the reason I don't do it much on here, but it looks like I need to change the offset. It looks like it's got an offset, not a simplex. Yep. So what I need to do is store this as. So I'm gonna hit start on the laptop again. There it goes. So now you can see it's connected.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do this with your Kenwood too. It is a little, for some reason, it seems like it's a little slower. And I believe it had to do with audio settings out of the radio. So you may be able to try that, but I know I've got it to work, but it was a little bit of work on setting it up. It says it's connected, but it's kind of looks like it's hung up.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like it was an audio setting that I had to adjust somewhere. But just to kind of show you, I did it like a KISS, COM port for it, 96. It's been a minute since I played with it, but honestly, I mainly I mainly run it together with this and just you know off that app.
Yeah, see, and that with the Kenwood, it's the KISS TNC, just like it is on that BTEC.
Yeah, that'll work good for you. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have an external antenna for UHF? Or yeah, UHF.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to see if you can get into the 441050, and you would just type it in as KB0WZI. You wouldn't use the dash or anything like that. But mine's up about 30 feet. Now, power wise, it's only 5 watts, but I can hear pretty good on it. So if you ever want to test that, that'd be kind of interesting to see.
I'll test
But
with Kenwood, and I'll definitely once I get my 9700 working, I'll see if I can get into my 9700 from up here.
that's cool. Now, one thing I would like to eventually work into is it's running 1200 baud. I think it'd be nice to have it at 96. Now, the only issue with 9600 baud is it definitely make the pictures a lot quicker. But the biggest issue I see with 9600 is you couldn't use an HT for it. You would have to have a special radio. A lot of the mobiles, like a lot of the ICOM, Yaesu, Kenwood mobiles, will run 9600, but something to do with the duty cycle and HTs, they don't recommend it or something. Um, so I've never done 96, but I think it'd be fun to try to do that. So
Yeah, because my 9700 definitely do 9600 baud.
it would just go. I mean, it'd be pretty quick exchange, especially if we're doing stuff like Steve was talking about, like if we're sending pictures back and forth. But again, WinLink's super popular in MCOM modes. A lot of your emergency managers like it. And I just look back at case history, as recent as North Carolina, it was pretty much, besides voice on the 2 meter repeater, is one of the main ways to get information out to the public. So those that had WinLink was able to help their neighbors send emails out. They set up like little portable stations and, put up a little sign said, send email here. And again, the first 72 hours is what Cox Hospital and a lot of the emergency managers say is the most important, is that first 72 hours.
Hmm.
So, uh, after that, WinLink starts showing up, I'm sorry, Starlink starts showing up, and a lot of that kind of stuff starts showing up. So for that first 72 hours, it's kind of where we plan to be, and hopefully take care of a lot of that stuff. So
Even when the Starlink starts showing up, there's times that Starlink gets saturated, and because I know people have got Starlink, and all of a sudden it gets throttled like they were
slowing
doing on
down.
stuff, so they have problems with it anyways. That's where we still come in.
Yeah, that was same way with like the old can't remember the old satellites. I can't remember who was
I
that.
know who you're talking about, and I
Yeah,
can't
the
think of their
first
name.
ones, Hughes and some of the others. The
Yep.
problem is what those could only hold so much. Now, Starlink's supposed to have that a lot better, and they'll do like lasers, backbones up in space. So they're supposed to be able to send internet through to each other, all those satellites up there. And if something starts overloading one area, it's supposed, but
Well, what helps them too is the low altitude,
yeah,
because the huge satellites and all those other ones from the olden days, they weren't low altitude satellites. That's why
yeah,
you had so much lag on them.
yeah, it's true. So I'm like you guys, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. I
Mm-mm.
think anything we can do, you got FM, you got VHF, UHF, we have digital modes.
Yep.
Granted, DMR in itself won't go down, but like Brandmeister would. So any of the internet linking and stuff,
That
that'll
won't
go
break my
down.
heart.
Yeah. but using it as simplex, I encourage everybody, make sure you have some DMR simplex
Hmm.
programmed in.
Yep.
And I actually like the dual slot options for that. You could do like command on on the same frequency. Slot one could be command, slot two could be end users, and then just bounce back and forth. And then you're only tied up one frequency for two different conversations. So,
Well, it's like
but
I've got the radio for all three types of digital,
mhm,
and you definitely want to have simplex on them. People don't realize how much better the digital actually cuts through
mhm.
compared to analog.
It's skinnier.
Yep.
FM's a little wider, and again, I'm a big fan of skinnier, even though I'm not a good example, but skinnier people can get there quicker than me. So,
Yep.
and that's why I like Morse code or the JS8 call and stuff like that. It's a skinny signal, and that Vara works really good. Those Pactor modems are super nice, but they're very expensive, 2 or 3 thousand or something like for some of those real fancy ones. It's like a Dragon something other, SCS Dragon 4 or something. But oh my goodness! But they can hear, like, we can't hear it with our ear, but the computer can decode it. It's just,
Hmm.
and I was able to show that this weekend at Winter Field Day. We was showing some of the guys how, like, I could barely hear the station I was sending the WinLink message to, and if I recall, it was like 66 miles away on 40 meter, uh, somewhere down in Arkansas. I'd have to pull up that other laptop, but it was so cool that I was able to send that email. And again, I could barely hear him on with my ear on this through the speaker, but Vara decoded, good copies. And now the stronger the signal, the better. So it goes faster that way. But anyways, so that was the check-in, good way to check in. And we'll start working on the next step of that, like next week, taking those check-ins and start expanding on the dots and how to change. Like, do you have electricity? We'll play with some of that next week, and we definitely we got these recorded. I'm recording this one here, and I'll upload it to YouTube. So if you do want to recap any of this or want to replay it, I need to figure out a place to store. Well, they're on YouTube right now. It's private links,
Mhm.
but maybe somewhere we'll create a place that you can download it. If you do want a recap of them, just send me an email at the on Winlink there. It looks like everybody here that's still with us has Winlink. So if you want to send an email back to me, KB0WZI, again, if you happen to be watching this outside of Winlink, KB0WZI at winlink.org in the subject / WL2K. Again, that's the filtering that helps it bypass the spam filter. So that's the only way to get an email into Winlink system outside. So
Unless it's saved
yeah,
like you were
yeah.
showing them
If
earlier.
you have your accept list there. So
Hmm.
appreciate everybody jumping in. Larry, it's good to see you guys on too. And we used to do some of this training with Larry. I'm gonna bring you in here, Larry.
I
There you
think
are.
I think what I'll do too, Clayton, is as I start getting some of these radios actually working, I
Huh?
might put some videos together as well. So if people need to see certain radios,
Yeah, yeah, that'll be
how they
good.
could do it.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be good. Because it is with each radio comes different a little bit different setups and stuff. And so it's helpful to have that. Larry, it's good to see you on the net too. Larry and I and Earlene, we used to do some training with Winlink a long time ago, doing some peer-to-peer and stuff. So good to see you back on there, sir. And
Well, I'm not hooked up to do that stuff. I lost you or I missed a spot. So this is all I got is what you see here.
no, you're good. Uh, so if you have FT8 capabilities, which I'm pretty certain you do, it's pretty much the same setup. You just use that laptop and we'll download WinLink again. And the video I did last week or the net we did last week shows that. So I'll send you that link and you can kind
Well,
of
I'm
replay
on
that.
the iOS. I'm on the big computer, and you know which one that is.
Uh,
So I'm on the Apple. I got it downloaded and everything, and I got into here, but the white page you were showing, I didn't get that hooked up.
sure, sure. So actually, we would probably, especially since I'm kind of more familiar with your setup at home, you would want to download WinLink on your laptop, your radio laptop.
Oh, the new one I got.
Yeah, yeah, because
Oh, I
that's the
went to
one you.
this because you said this one.
Yeah, yeah. Well, only here because of the Zoom, because you have that camera built into it. So,
Yeah.
but so yeah, basically take what we did here tonight, kind of put that on your laptop. Well, you'll want the previous session, so we'll put that. I'll send you those links and stuff, and that way you guys can replay these and you know feel free. I was honestly shocked this week. I I try to check my using this. I'll hit the wrong one. I do this. I carry this my everyday carry right here. I carry these two radios with me, and I actually just happen to check it. Yeah, maybe once or twice a day, just out of habit. I usually don't get much, but Jim actually sent me an email on there, and I was like, "Oh wow!" It kind of surprised me at first. So, the key is getting out there, trying it, practicing with it, and the more we practice, the better and more proficient it comes.
Maybe sometime when you have time, we can finish setting it up. If you could help out. I
Sounds
didn't
good.
want to tie up tonight, so that's why I didn't jump in.
That's good. Yeah, we'll use these nights for like going over new stuff, and then through the week as you have a chance to practice it, and feel free to practice what we learned and stuff, and don't ever be afraid to send emails but it's good to see everybody on and I got about 30 minutes before I turn into a pumpkin. So I'm gonna shut us down and head back up. My wife's home, so I better get up there and visit with her. But sure good seeing everybody on the net tonight, and we'll look forward to seeing y'all next week too. So
Yeah,
What
hopefully next week I'll be sending RF.
Oh, very good. Well, if you get it set up during the week, feel free to send some messages. But
Oh, you saw? Well, I sent you the confirmation on the presentation through
yeah, I
Winlink.
did see that too. Yeah, we exchanged. That was one of them too. That was like, what? So that's kind of cool.
All right, I'll check out here.
All right. See you guys later. You guys have a good night, and we'll look forward to the next net.
Thanks,
All right,
Clayton.
Clayton.
All
Thanks.
right. See you guys.